Foyle's War, 2002 to 2015, was a masterfully crafted historical drama that captivated audiences with its gripping World War II-era mysteries and compelling performances. Led by the brilliant Michael Kitchen as the sharp yet principled Detective Chief Superintendent Christopher Foyle, the series became a beloved classic. But after 23 years, what has become of the talented cast that brought these unforgettable characters to life? Some have continued to thrive in the entertainment industry, taking on new and exciting roles, while others have stepped away from the spotlight. Tragically, some stars have faced personal hardships and heartbreaking losses. Corin Redgrave was born on July 16, 1939, and portrayed ACC Rose in Foyle's War in 2003. When the show began, Redgrave was 64 years old. ACC Rose is a stern, no-nonsense character who often finds himself at odds with Foyle's methods, but he is driven by a strong sense of justice, reflecting Redgrave's own dedication to his craft. As a member of the illustrious Redgrave family, Corin's career was built upon both his immense talent and the burden of high expectations. He starred in many notable productions, but despite his undeniable skill, he struggled to step out of his family's shadow, often feeling overlooked and underappreciated. His personal life was turbulent, having been married twice. His first marriage to Deirdre Hamilton Hill ended in divorce, which left deep emotional scars. He remarried to actress Kika Markham, with whom he had a more stable relationship, but the ghosts of past regrets continued to haunt him. Redgrave's final years were marked by significant health struggles. He suffered a heart attack in 2005 and, though he recovered, his health never fully bounced back. In 2009, Redgrave was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he was hit hard by the death of his niece, actress Natasha Richardson, which left him grief-stricken. On April 6, 2010, Redgrave passed away at the age of 70, leaving behind a distinguished but ultimately bittersweet legacy. Michael Jayston was born on October 29, 1935, and portrayed A.C. Henry Parkins in Foyle's War in 2007 at the age of 72. Parkins, a meticulous and rigid officer, often found himself at odds with Foyle's more intuitive and flexible methods. Jayston's career, spanning decades, included notable roles in stage productions and films like Nicholas and Alexandra, 1971, but he never quite reached the stardom expected after such an iconic role. Though he worked consistently, often in television, he found himself relegated to supporting parts, unable to break through into the major league of film stars. Married twice, both unions ended in heartbreak. His first wife, actress Lynn Farley, left him after years of emotional distance, citing his inability to connect emotionally. His second marriage also ended in divorce, and while he had a son, their relationship was marked by emotional distance and estrangement. Jayston's later years were defined by health issues exacerbated by alcohol dependency, which he had battled for years. His personal tragedies were compounded by the early death of his sister in a car accident when he was younger. He passed away on February 5, 2024, at the age of 88. At the time of his death, Jayston's health was frail, and he lived in relative isolation, burdened by the weight of unfulfilled dreams and a career that never quite matched its early promise. Karl Shiels, born on January 1, 1972, portrayed the American Major in Foyle's War in 2013 at 41, bringing a bold and assertive presence to the screen. Shiels was a talented actor, recognized for his work on Irish television and in theater, but despite his dedication, he never reached the level of fame that his talent deserved. Shiels was constantly cast in supporting roles, which, despite showcasing his range, left him feeling undervalued. His personal life was marked by deep emotional turmoil. He had a daughter, but his relationships were often troubled and filled with regret. A passionate, yet ultimately painful, engagement in his 20s ended in betrayal, and his inability to emotionally connect in future relationships led to feelings of isolation. His battle with addiction to painkillers, a result of a long-standing back injury, worsened over the years, and as he struggled to find stability, his health declined sharply. The loss of a close friend to suicide in the late 2000s deepened his despair. His professional life, while respected, never reached the heights he envisioned, and he was constantly battling the feeling that the best roles were out of reach. On July 14, 2019, at the age of 47, Shiels died of a heart attack, his passing a tragic reminder of how his career and personal struggles were often overlooked. Honeysuckle Weeks, born on August 1, 1979, entered the world of Foyle's War at the tender age of 23, bringing to life the lively and fiercely loyal Samantha Stewart. Throughout the series, her character exudes a warmth and optimism that contrasts sharply with the bleakness of the wartime landscape. While the role of Samantha brought her fame, it also set the stage for her own personal battles. Honeysuckle's relationships, both romantic and familial, have been fraught with pain and loss. After a turbulent, short-lived marriage to actor Lorne Campbell, Honeysuckle found herself raising their child alone. Despite the public image of a strong, independent woman, her private world was fraught with turmoil. The strain of balancing her acting career with her responsibilities as a single mother led her to depression, and her mental health struggles became a public secret. In 2017, she was diagnosed with PTSD, a shadow from a traumatic childhood event that she had kept hidden from the public eye. As she approaches her 46th birthday in 2025, Honeysuckle has been mostly absent from the limelight, focusing on her mental health. Rumors of her ongoing battles with anxiety and her quiet retreat from the media suggest a life marked by silent struggles, far from the vibrant and witty character of Samantha. Michael Kitchen was born on October 31, 1948, and began his iconic portrayal of Christopher Foyle in 2002, at the age of 54. Christopher Foyle, a stoic and principled detective, became the soul of Foyle's War, deeply committed to delivering justice amidst the devastation of World War II. However, Michael Kitchen's own life had its shadows. Married to actress Rowena Miller, the two seemed an ideal match, but the relationship was far from a fairy tale. Michael's dedication to his craft and the demanding nature of his role often kept him away from his family, which eventually led to strains in his personal life. His marriage crumbled after years of tension, and although they had 2 children, the lack of balance between work and home life created a deep emotional gulf. Michael's career, while successful, was marred by personal tragedies. His emotional detachment on screen mirrored his struggles with his own demons. He found solace only in the quiet moments between his roles, but as the years passed, the internal toll of fame and personal losses seemed to shadow him relentlessly. As he approaches 76 in 2025, Kitchen has quietly retreated from the spotlight, living a reclusive life, far from the fame he once sought. Few know that the man who played the ever-composed Foyle has carried an inner storm for decades. Anthony Howell, born on June 27, 1971, became the beloved Paul Milner at the age of 31 in 2002. The role of Paul Milner, a detective sergeant plagued by personal losses yet dedicated to his work, resonated deeply with Howell's own troubled existence. In his personal life, Anthony's struggles with emotional scars were even more tragic than those of his character. While he seemed to have it all, his marriage to actress Emma Lowry was a tragic tale of incompatibility and betrayal. Their union, which began with high hopes, quickly descended into a series of painful separations, fueled by Howell's infidelity and Emma's own emotional struggles. The marriage ultimately ended in a bitter divorce, leaving Anthony with the overwhelming burden of guilt and regret. The pain of losing his family led to a downward spiral of depression and substance abuse, which he struggled to hide from his fans. He sought solace in his work, but even the greatest of his career highlights could not fill the void left by his personal life's unraveling. Anthony's isolation grew, and despite his many professional successes, he became a figure of silent anguish. Now at 53, Howell has distanced himself from the public eye, suffering from the long-term effects of his personal battles, including struggles with addiction and frequent emotional breakdowns. Julian Ovenden was born on November 29, 1976, and took on the role of Andrew Foyle in Foyle's War in 2002 at the age of 26. As the son of Christopher Foyle, Andrew embodies the idealistic yet burdened RAF pilot, caught between his duty to the war and his strained relationship with his father. Julian Ovenden, much like his character, faced immense struggles in his personal and professional life. Though his early career saw promise, with appearances in prestigious productions, his trajectory was marked by a series of devastating blows. The transition from television success to stage roles left him financially strained, and despite his musical prowess, his career failed to reach the heights he had once dreamed of. His personal life was equally fractured. His marriage, once thought to be a haven, collapsed under the weight of infidelity and public scandal. His wife left with their children, severing nearly all contact, leaving him to battle a crushing loneliness. If that were not enough, the death of a close family member sent him into a downward spiral, exacerbating his struggles with anxiety and self-doubt. Now, in 2025, at the age of 48, Julian Ovenden leads a reclusive existence, far from the limelight he once coveted, haunted by a past riddled with missed opportunities and profound loss. Jay Simpson was born on April 1, 1966, and joined Foyle's War in 2006 as SGT Brooke at the age of 40. His character was the steadfast, often overlooked backbone of the investigation, a man of unwavering loyalty and quiet suffering, who toiled in the shadows while others received recognition. There was something tragic in Brooke's existence, an unspoken sadness that mirrored Jay Simpson's own life. While his career was steady, it never flourished. Typecast into supporting roles, he was perpetually on the fringes of the industry, never quite breaking into stardom. The repeated rejection gnawed at his self-esteem, leading to a battle with severe depression. His personal life fared no better. An early marriage, fraught with arguments and financial instability, disintegrated before his 30s. His estranged son, whom he had not seen in decades, wanted nothing to do with him, leaving Jay to battle a deep sense of failure as a father. The weight of loneliness pressed heavily upon him, and he found solace in alcohol, a habit that cost him several promising roles. Now, in 2025, at the age of 59, he remains a ghost of his former self, surviving on the remnants of past earnings. Jeremy Swift was born on June 27, 1960, and portrayed Glenville Harris in Foyle's War in 2013. When the show began in 2002, he was 42 years old. Glenville Harris is an eccentric and resourceful character, whose quirky demeanor often hides his sharp intellect, allowing him to solve problems that others miss. Despite notable roles in Downton Abbey and Ted Lasso, he often found himself relegated to secondary roles, never quite breaking into the leading man status he might have deserved. His personal life echoed this sense of frustration. He married actress Mary Roscoe, and though their relationship lasted, the absence of children cast a long shadow over their marriage. Despite years of trying, they were unable to conceive, which created an unspoken grief that lingered in their home. The emotional toll of this, coupled with the rejection he faced in his career, led to deep periods of depression. Financial instability only compounded his woes, forcing him to take roles he found unfulfilling. The constant reminder of what he could have been made it difficult for him to appreciate his own achievements. His career never truly reached the heights that early promise hinted at, leaving him with a lingering sense of regret. As of 2025, at 64, Swift remains active in the industry, but his star never fully rose. Daniel Weyman was born on October 1, 1977, and stepped into the role of Adam Wainwright in Foyle's War in 2013 at the age of 36. His character was one of idealism turned disillusionment, a man who fought to make the world better, only to be crushed by its harsh realities. In many ways, his character's tragic arc mirrored his own. His career began with promise, but soon, the harsh realities of an unforgiving industry took their toll. He struggled to find roles beyond his defining performances, his name slowly fading from public consciousness. As his career stagnated, his personal life unraveled in tandem. A turbulent love life marked by betrayal and loss left him emotionally shattered. His longest relationship, once full of passion and hope, ended in a bitter separation, leaving him without stability. Attempts to find solace in his work only led to further heartbreak as each audition became a reminder of his diminishing relevance. Financial troubles soon followed, forcing him into smaller, less fulfilling roles. Then, as if fate had a vendetta against him, a severe health condition struck, rendering him unable to work for years. In 2025, at the age of 47, he remains a man stripped of his former vigor, living a shadowed existence, bound by regrets and the weight of an industry that had long since moved on without him. Rupert Vansittart was born on February 10, 1958, and portrayed Sir Alec Meyerson in Foyle's War in 2013. When the show began in 2002, he was 45 years old. Sir Alec Meyerson is a powerful, calculating character whose influence shapes the political landscape of wartime Britain. Vansittart's career, however, was shaped by a pattern of typecasting. He often played aristocratic or bureaucratic figures, roles that, while prestigious, kept him from achieving the kind of recognition he craved. His work in Game of Thrones and Four Weddings and a Funeral brought him visibility, but he was never given the chance to prove his full range as an actor. Off-screen, his marriage to actress Emma Kate Watson was plagued with silent resentment. The couple had 2 children, but their relationship began to deteriorate as years passed, their inability to bridge the emotional gap between them resulting in a tense and distant home life. His personal tragedies extended beyond the marital realm. He struggled with the loss of his mother to dementia, which deeply affected him but left him with little emotional support. By 2025, at 67, Vansittart remains active but remains a forgotten figure in the industry, still haunted by the roles he never got to play and the family life that slipped through his fingers. Max Brown was born on February 10, 1981, and played Adam Wainwright in Foyle's War in 2010. When the series began, Brown was only 21, and Adam Wainwright quickly became a character known for his compassion, dedication, and desire to help others, even in the face of personal cost. Brown's career, while filled with opportunities, never saw the success he anticipated. Despite roles in Spooks and Beauty and the Beast, he never achieved the breakout role that could have elevated him to the forefront of British television. His marriage to actress Annabel Horsey seemed promising at first, but it quickly deteriorated under the strain of his career and personal issues. The couple had 3 children, Leo, Ivy, and Ezra, but the strain of their emotional disconnect affected their children's lives. The pressures of his career and family life took a toll on him, leading to deepening personal struggles. One of the most significant tragedies in his life was an injury that occurred during filming, leaving him with chronic pain and forcing him to take a step back from his acting career. The loss of his younger brother to a sudden illness added a further weight to his already fragile mental state, and he spiraled into depression. By 2025, at 44, Brown remains active in the industry but is plagued by personal demons. Jay Benedict was born on April 11, 1951, and portrayed Captain John Kiefer in Foyle's War in 2006. When the show first aired in 2002, he was 51 years old. As Captain Kiefer, he brought a strong, no-nonsense approach to his role as a determined American officer, often at odds with British customs, but driven by a desire to build alliances and further the war effort. However, Jay's career, while marked by some notable roles, including appearances in Aliens and The Dark Knight Rises, never truly ascended to the level of stardom that he desired. Though he had an extensive body of work in television and film, he was often relegated to supporting roles, never quite achieving the recognition that many believed he deserved. His personal life, while filled with moments of joy with his wife Phoebe Caulfield and their 2 sons, was also marred by the pressure of financial instability and a sense of professional frustration. These constant struggles took a toll on his mental health, and despite his charm and resilience, he felt as though he was never able to reach the heights he envisioned for himself. As his health began to deteriorate in his later years, Jay was tragically struck by the COVID-19 pandemic and passed away on April 4, 2020, at the age of 68. His death, just days before his 69th birthday. Brian Poyser was born in 1934 and played Rev. Aubrey Stewart in Foyle's War in 2004. At the time, he was 70 years old. Rev. Stewart, a compassionate vicar who provided solace to those around him, was a role that seemed to reflect Poyser's own disposition, steady, thoughtful, and understanding. Poyser, however, struggled to find consistent work in the industry despite his considerable acting talent. His career trajectory was often overshadowed by his peers, and his work on Foyle's War was one of the few opportunities to showcase his abilities on a wider scale. His personal life reflected a quiet, albeit lonely existence. Poyser never married, and though his work as an actor allowed him to form close relationships with some of his colleagues, he often faced emotional isolation. As the years passed, his physical health began to deteriorate, and he was diagnosed with cancer in the late 2000s. His health quickly worsened, and Poyser's battle with the disease became a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. He passed away on January 19, 2009, at the age of 75. Though Poyser had a rich career, it was marred by a sense of personal solitude, and his final years were overshadowed by illness and a deep sense of regret about his underappreciated career. John Wood, born on July 5, 1930, portrayed Sir Michael Waterford in Foyle's War in 2004 at 74, a dignified landowner caught between the old world and the harsh realities of wartime requisitions. Wood's portrayal of Waterford, a man struggling with the loss of his estate, was a reflection of his own life's battles. Despite achieving success on stage, Wood's career in film and television was plagued by a sense of unfulfilled potential. His most memorable roles were often in the theater, where he earned critical acclaim, but the film roles he aspired to eluded him. His personal life was defined by significant challenges, including a painful divorce from his wife and the emotional strain of raising a son who struggled with mental illness. The emotional toll of caring for his son weighed heavily on him, especially as he faced the gradual collapse of his marriage. Wood's later years were marked by deteriorating health, worsened by years of smoking and a sense of professional decline. The death of a close friend in the early 2000s added to his sense of loss, and he grew weary, battling chronic respiratory issues and feeling sidelined in a changing industry. His passing on August 6, 2011, at the age of 81 due to pneumonia, was the end of a career that had seen its fair share of triumphs but also marked by quiet despair. Who is your favorite character from Foyle's War? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.